free. So our next presenter is Kristy Benner. Kristy is, in addition to being an associate at KMG here, in addition to being an associate here at KMG, the lighting design firm here in LA, Kristy's also the current president of the Designers Lighting Forum LA, and the magazine Light Design Applications. Over here, I thought I was on the spot at the time. The magazine Lighting Design and Application featured several designers that are important young designers that they saw as the future of light design. Kristy was included in that last month in Light Design and Application magazine. Okay, here's Kristy.
Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is a word that we see every day, green, as well as 3 different words that we've seen for the past, many years: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And what does that really mean in our everyday life? What different practices are we using, not just with lighting, but also with how are we impacting our environment? Burning fossil fuels, obviously, to make many of the products that we use every day is causing a problem in the environment, and there has to be a better solution. And I know that many of us are working at reducing things and looking at new technologies, but we really have to make sure that each of those technologies is legit, basically. This billboard I thought was interesting just because it's showing the public that it's more than just a billboard, and it's kind of doing what it's saying. The biggest thing I'm going to talk about today is our use of water bottles and compact fluorescent lighting. Plastic is made from petroleum, which is responsible for oil spills. It impacts the ocean. There's a lot of labor issues, and it's very labor intensive. Not to mention that substances used to make plastics are over 1 billion years old. So one of the solutions that some companies have come up with are bioplastics, which is definitely a step in the right direction. However, we just need to make sure that it's not distracting us from a better solution, maybe a stainless steel water bottle or a glass water bottle. So, bioplastics decompose rapidly, and sometimes before they even come off the shelf. But do you know that really only 15 to 35% of all water bottles are actually recycled? So if we can't even recycle a water bottle, what makes us think we're going to be able to recycle a compact fluorescent lamp or something else? So I'm going to study specifically right now, like I said, what goes into making both of these sources? What happens when we're done using them? How much energy do they actually use? Compact fluorescents have been around for a long time, and only recently have they become something that we feel like can save a bigger problem. As you can see in this graph, lighting accounts for 33% of the energy use in all of buildings. So clearly we all have a responsibility to help solve that. During a 10,000 hour period, using a compact fluorescent instead of an incandescent source can save 191 pounds of coal, which is 2.6% of the total coal consumption. If every household replaced one commonly used CFL, or lamp with a CFL, we would save $600 million per year in energy costs and prevent emissions equal to 800,000 cars. An incandescent consumes 90 to 95% of its energy just to heat the filament, which means that we really only have 5 to 10% of the energy that it's consuming to produce light. A compact fluorescent uses 75% and then 25% to make light. What about mercury? The average CFL has about 5 milligrams of mercury, but what we don't know is that incandescents, when they're produced, actually produce or require 4 times that amount. So no matter what, the incandescent is still producing mercury, it's just in a different way, and it's spewing into the atmosphere. And if we don't recycle them, then we're adding that extra 5 milligrams into the earth, into our world. And so there's many different, big retail chains that are trying to help that, but it's definitely difficult. As you can see here, since 8 incandescent bulbs kind of equal 1 compact fluorescent as far as energy and overall life, they require a lot more kilowatt hours to run and use a lot more resources. Though compact fluorescents do cost, a significant amount more because they last 8 times longer, they are still an energy savings and they pretty much pay for themselves just by use. There's a lot of initiatives by the government and across the world to phase out the incandescent light bulb. And it's definitely a step in the right direction, but is it kind of like the bioplastic water bottle? Like, what else is out there? Obviously, there's some LEDs, but we need to make sure that we're still always looking further and further to figure out what the next great thing for the environment is. So as you can see here, this is just a quick graph that I found, that 25 globe incandescent lamps equals 2.5 compact fluorescents, which is equal to 1 LED. So just by looking at that alone and the use over there on the left, it's clearly better. But what is the point of this presentation? Think about your favorite bar or restaurant that you've been in recently. Most likely you will have seen one of these Edison lamps hanging in there. Why do we do that? Is it in response to green initiatives? Is it trying to emanate candles? What are we trying to do? One quote that I found that I thought was really interesting is, how can you be serving organic beer, locally grown produce while you are lighting your business with the most inefficient light bulbs in the world? And these are a couple of projects that I've done, and you can see how the impact of the Edison bulb kind of sets the mood for the space, and there's obviously other more energy efficient sources, but they're still producing a lot of heat and requiring a lot of energy to run and cool and all of that. So I want to leave you with just the fact that the compact fluorescent is better. There's still better solutions, and we all have the power to pick those better sources and solutions when we're designing so that we can all live in a place like that on the left.